to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel on this beautiful Tuesday evening / night. I hope you're all doing well. And yeah, we are back today, and it's a watch along. We are following updates from the UEFA Champions League, where Galatasaray are leading Liverpool by goal to nil. Among many other games, last I checked, Chelsea were ahead of Benfica by goal to nil. It was an own goal. So yeah, we'll be following the updates from those respective fixtures tonight as we go along for this broadcast, and then after the games, we will give our sort of analysis of them and review. I did watch the first half of Chelsea versus Benfica. It did not have too much to offer, and now we will be following updates from Liverpool's engagement on the other side. So yeah, indulge me and join me on this broadcast. You will allow me to have news tested before we can proceed any further, just to be sure that everything does check out and is on the right track. Allow me to get that done in just a bit. But yeah, it's a UEFA Champions League football. Real Madrid won their game earlier on, Kylian Mbappe getting himself a hat-trick as they beat up against Kaiwati Almaty or something like that. I hope I'm not. Yes, Kaiwati Almaty by 5 goals to nil. Kylian Mbappe scoring the hat-trick in that one. Brahim Diaz and Eduardo Camavinga, the others on target. Then Atlanta beat up against Braga by 2 goals to 1. As we speak, Atletico de Madrid are leading Eintracht Frankfurt by 4 goals to 1. Antoine Griezmann is among the goal scorers, as well as Lee Nomad. Then Respiratory Griezmann seems he had goal disallowed for VR, and then Simeone. Then in the other games, Bodo Glimt are leading up against Tottenham Hotspur by 2 goals to 1. Chelsea are still 1 up against Benfica. Like I said, Galatasaray is still in the lead against Liverpool. Inter Milan are 3-0 up against Slavia Praha, while Ajax are being thumped by Olympique Marseille by 4 goals to nil at the moment. Mason Greenwood among the goal scorers. Then Bayern Munich, like I did expect, handing Paphos quite the thumping. Hurricane already picked up a brush for himself in the first half. Michael Olise and Guerreiro among the others, and Nicholas Jackson, the others on target for Bayern Munich. So yeah, let's follow the events from that game. But I know for a fact that Victor Osimhen was withdrawn through what appeared to be an injury. So yeah, that game is ongoing as we speak. That game is ongoing. We will be getting updates. I will be reading some of the match reaction from some of your favorite, from the fan forum, the different fan forums, where we can't get any reactions from. Then quickly, I did not watch the Liverpool first half, so but it's sort of. I've followed the second half, and Alson Ramsey-Becker, who has since been forced off through injury, and Georgie Mamadashvili came on, had to bail out, Liverpool on another occasion. Again, Victor Osimhen was the player through in that moment, and he did well to save. He's very, very good with 1v1 situations, so he did well to save that opportunity. I think it was Ibrahim Konate that had fumbled the ball or played the pass before Galatasaray picked up on it. Galatasaray, Mal Icardi here getting himself booked. We are into the 78th minute of the game as we follow the updates from that side. So remember, Liverpool beat up against Atletico de Madrid in their opening fixture of the UEFA Champions League. They had a 2-0 lead squandered with Llorente scoring the brace, and they needed a late winner from their captain, that's Virgil van Dijk, you know. So, and in this one, it took a 16-minute penalty from Victor Osimhen that remains the goal that separates the two sides. Liverpool are continuing to push, but so far they have yet to find, you know, the goodies. Quite a cheeky pass for Mo Salah. Referee says no foul. Liverpool are really, really trying to press for an equalizer. It just hasn't yet come. It just hasn't yet come. Mm, all right. Let's look at the Liverpool, you know, the starting 11 that they started with. Of course, Mo Salah wasn't in that. He had to come on just in the second half. But they did start with Alson Ramsey-Specker in goal, Milos Kakez, Virgil van Dijk, Dominic Szoboszlai playing at right back, Ibrahim Konate, then Ryan Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, Cody Gakpo, Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, and Hugo Ekitike. Now, among the substitutions made, like I said, Georgi Mamadashvili came on for Alson Ramsey-Specker. Ryan Gravenberch paved the way for Alexander Isak, while Cody Gakpo was withdrawn for Mohamed Salah, and Jeremy Frimpong came on for Connor Bradley. Sorry, Connor Bradley came on for Jeremy Frimpong. Now, Jeremy Frimpong was started further ahead. Surprisingly, I think Anna Slot was trying to test this one out, playing Szoboszlai at the right back, and then playing Jeremy Frimpong on the right wing, you know. Then you had Hugo Ekitike replace Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister replacing Hugo Ekitike. Yeah, those are some of the changes that have been made. Then Mauro Icardi came on for Victor Osimhen, Ilkay Gundogan, and paved the way for for Sarah, because Galatasaray did start with Osimhen, you know, Ilkay Gundogan, Akgan, Yilmazi, Mario Lemina, Lucas Torreira, Davidson Sanchez, Jacobs, Singo. I mean, strong starting 11. That's a poor pass. Poor pass, poor pass. So yeah, those are the updates from the competition as we continue. Mo Salah on the bit of a difficult one, but yeah, that's the situation. Liverpool are pressing, really trying to press for an equalizer. Oh, I thought it was a Liverpool corner, but it's been given for a goal kick. It's been given for a goal kick. Let's remind ourselves who, Okan Brook is the manager there for Galatasaray. Then we know that they are missing Giovanni Leoni, Federico Chiesa, and Stefan Bajcetic. That's for the Liverpool side for the injuries. How come Leroy Sané is not still on the bench? Leroy Sané still on the bench. quite the decent team they have there at Galatasaray. I do wish Safa Ali, who was part of this broadcast, to sort of indulge us, with his knowledge of Turkish football, the Fenerbahce fan. Excuse me. Remember, Liverpool over the weekend are going to be in action against Chelsea. Uh, we have weekend games and then we go for the international break. Yeah, if you're just joining us, we are doing a watch along for that Liverpool game against Galatasaray. My moment of silence was significant, was a reflection of what was happening because Liverpool started the game, but the ball was recalled back, and then Galatasaray had to make a substitution. Uh, French referee is in charge of this one. Forget his name, but the one that resembles Leandro Trossard. That's the man in charge. Oh, just a coming together. Two players. Not much, really. Liverpool pushing forward. We're into the 87th minute. We're into the 87th minute, 88th minute thereabouts, and it's still 1-0. Bayern Munich versus Pafos. That game has ended. Like I said, 5-1 in favor of Bayern Munich. Olympic Marseille were into stoppage time, still leading by 4 goals to 0 against Ajax. Inter Milan still leading Slavia Praha by 3 goals to 0. Chelsea still holding on to their 1-0 lead, while Tottenham Hotspurs have equalized against Bodo Glimt. That game is 2-2 as we speak. Tottenham's goals have been scored by Mickey van de Ven and then Gunderson scored an own goal in the 89th minute to restore parity. So that game is still 2-2. Atletico de Madrid have the 5th against Eintracht Frankfurt. Galatasaray are failing to clear the area. Julian Alvarez with a penalty. He had yet to score in this fixture. That's a penalty. Liverpool are awarded a penalty. Like I was saying, in the game between Atletico de Madrid versus Eintracht Frankfurt, Julian Alvarez, with a burst of assists and a penalty of his own to make it 5-1, that game has finished. That game has finished 5-1 in favor of Atletico de Madrid, while Liverpool have been handed a penalty in this game. The incident is being reviewed, but the noise in the stadium is almost deafening. The referee has been summoned to the monitor, and usually we know that the referee gets summoned to the monitor. Forget the Premier League, forget the poor officiating of the Premier League. The referee only gets summoned to the monitor when there is a clear and obvious error, which could be the case in this particular one. So let's review it as well, along with him, and see whether he does change his mind. Oh, there's a high boot, but the defender clearly gets the ball, and Ibrahim Konate kicks into the Galatasaray defender's, boot. So it means no penalty. But I kid you not, it's going to be a bunch of added minutes. So yep, it's not yet over. No foul, no penalty. Liverpool will have to do it the hard way if they want to snatch a point out of this one. They'll have to do it the hard way. Eight added minutes. So far, we've gone about two of those, and it's still 1-0. It's still 1-0 as we speak in favor of the home sides, Galatasaray. Very, very stubborn opponent, especially at their home turf when it comes to UEFA Champions League nights. Uh-oh. Beautiful build-up of play from right in the back to the forward lines. But Liverpool are yet to create anything out of it. Alexander Isak. They're trying to conjure out something, but Galatasaray are defending so well and so deep. Corner denied. I mean, this is nail-biting kind of stuff. But in the other games that are concluded, Marseille beat up against Ajax by 4-0. Inter Milan beat up against Slavia Praha by 3-0. And yeah, those are some of the other results. The Chelsea game is still on. Chelsea have won it by a goal to nil. An own goal from Rios uh, is what turned out to be what separated the two sides. That means they get 3 points, having lost the first game. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich are leading the table, 6 points. Real Madrid come in second, 6 points. Inter 6 points. Tottenham 4 points. PSG, who play tomorrow against Barcelona, beautiful game of football to catch up on. Arsenal dropping down to 11th. Of course, they play tomorrow. So many teams there with 3 points. Kairati Almaty, bottom of the league, -8 goal difference, along with the likes of Ajax. Ajax being handed a thunderous beating. The game between Tottenham and Bodo Glimt has equally finished. Oh, Lucas Torreira, so close to doubling that one. So yeah, it's only the Liverpool game that is still ongoing. We're into the 96th minute of the game. But time is running out for Liverpool if they are to get a point out of this one, if they are to rescue something. Well, it's just too long. Liverpool have been knocked into that midfield. 1 minute of added time left to play. Couldn't get the ball from under his feet. Ibrahim Kanate with a poor blind pass. But Georgi Mamadashvili will defend his own lines. Beautiful pass. Davinson Sanchez. Mario Lemina and Davinson Sanchez both hit the floor at the same time. Looks like a part of Anna Slot is resigned to dropping all 3 points. Sees no way of getting a point out of this one. He himself is looking for that inspiration from his own side. And it's all done. Liverpool 0, Galatasaray 1. It's finished. Liverpool beaten in Turkey. Very difficult atmosphere. My prediction had been that they would go and win by 2-1. I mean, we're talking about a Liverpool side that really, really surprised us last season. They topped the standings of the UEFA Champions League group stages before meeting PSG at the round of 16, then got knocked out at that level. And it's not happening for them. It's not happening for them, you know. Wow. What a result. What a game of football. It's all done and dusted. Liverpool beaten in Istanbul, Turkey, by a goal to nil from Galatasaray. So yeah, that's been the turnout of events from the UEFA Champions League tonight. The Liverpool beaten um, Tottenham in a 2-all draw with Bodo Glimt, and yeah, Inter Milan winners beating up against Slavia Praha by 3 goals to nil. You look at so I mean, let me see. Really much. There's not been so many surprising results. I think away from my personal predictions, it's only Liverpool that have disappointed. But Real Madrid putting 5 against Kairati Almaty, that was expected. Atlanta beating up against Club Brugge, maybe not too expected, but a decent result for a home team. Olympic Marseille thumping Ajax by 4 goals to nil. White heavy Chelsea, Benfica had gone for a draw, a 1-all draw or a 2-all draw. That had been the expectation, but Chelsea have won it. I do not think they were really that convincing in the game. Let's look at their statistics: 57% ball possession compared to 43 of Benfica. Chelsea again getting themselves a red card to Joao Pedro in the 96th minute. I mean, what's with Chelsea? That's 3 games on the spin where they have received red cards. You remember Manchester United, they got a red card for the goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. Then the subsequent game against Brighton, they got a red card for Trevor Chalobah. So is it indiscipline or just coincidence? But yeah, like I said, I do not think we should be going through the table standings. We shall go through those after tomorrow's games, because tomorrow there are some many games to play tomorrow. Then Bayern Munich putting 5 against Pafos. My expectation was that they could even be more, but yeah, that's the kind of score line I hoped for or expected. Galatasaray beating Liverpool by goal to nil. That one I did not see coming, I must be honest. Tottenham and Bodo Glimt, I mean, we know Bodo Glimt is no walkover, and we know that Thomas Frank, even though he has a very good team, he's still a novice at this level. At the UEFA Champions League, this is his debut campaign as manager in the UEFA Champions League, so you could cut him some slack and yeah, spare him, everything that there is. I know Arsenal fans are going to be celebrating that Galatasaray victory for the simple reason that Lucas Torreira, one of the former players, was there, playing for them, playing for Galatasaray. But I can see Tottenham Hotspurs had Cario in goal, Mickey van der Ven, Kevin Danso, Pedro Porro, Dejan Space, Parmetsar, Rodrigo Bentancur, Lucas Backfield, Brian Johnson, Richardson, and Wilson Odebat. I do not know. It's Sokolanki. In last I checked, he was injured. But anyway, although not a bad result, given that they won their first game. So yeah, that's what's up. Atletico de Madrid putting 5 against Eintracht Frankfurt. I mean, that's a good follow-up to the kind of result that they posted over the weekend when they beat up against their city rivals, Real Madrid, by 5 goals to 2. So, I mean, if it's not deserved, then I do not know what to call it. But Giacomo Raspadori scored in the 4th minute to give Atletico de Madrid the lead. And then you had Robin Lee Nomad score in the 33rd minute, and Antonio Griezmann in the 1st minute of added time in the first half, that to make it 3-1, sorry, to make it 3-0. Then Eintracht Frankfurt, scored 1 through Jonathan Baghdad in the 57th minute before Giuliano Simeone scored in the 70th minute to make it 4-1, and then eventually a penalty from Julian Alvarez. were enough to make sure that they walk away with all 3 points. Anyways, guys, away from all that, yeah, here's one of fixtures that are coming up tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. Newcastle are going to be up against Union Saint Golice. They're playing away. Copenhagen will be away to Karabakh. Remember, Karabakh FK is a team that beat up against Benfica in the opening fixture, which led by 3-2, which led to the sacking of Bruno Lage. Then, I don't know why, but there's so many good games to watch tomorrow. Monaco, Manchester City, beautiful game to watch. At 10 p.m., Borussia Dortmund up against Athletic Bilbao, beautiful game to watch. And Napoli hoping to recover from their weekend nightmare where they got beat by AC Milan by 2-1. Will be hoping to recover against Sporting CP. Hi, Pedri. Pedri says Liverpool lost. Indeed, Liverpool have been beaten by a goal to nil. That goal by Victor Osimhen is enough. But action packed is all coming our way tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be really, really long day in the UEFA Champions League. So many good fixtures to follow up on. Pedri is asking, what do you think of tomorrow's big game? Do you think we will win? I think given that Barcelona are at home, there's no better advantage that you can have than that in the UEFA Champions League. But I do expect it to be a very tactical game between two managers who may not overthink the game, but are very tactical in the way they want to assemble their teams or the way they want their teams to play. Particularly PSG. PSG have not had the sort of most high-flying start to the campaign, but they've been winning games, I must say. So then Barcelona, of course, in high spirits, they are up on the summit of the La Liga standings. Should be motivation. Lamine Yamal is back. That's a very good addition. Unfortunately for Barcelona, there have been a couple of injuries. Joan Garcia absent for this one. Rafinha absent for this one. Of course, Gavi, but Gavi is not, that regular starter, so we cannot really claim him that much. But I think some of the absentees are really, really significant players that Barcelona would have loved to have on any given day. And for me, Robert Lewandowski, given his threat, he should be starting this one ahead of Ferran Torres. But I will leave that for the manager to sort of assemble and decide who he wants to see in his probable or in his starting 11. But the expectation should be that. Should be a very, very tactical game. Jules Koundé should start ahead of, Jules Koundé squad in the weekend as you guys beat up against Real Sociedad. So why even put him out? You say confirmed PSG will be missing Marquinhos, Desire Doué, Ousmane Dembele. What a miss for him on the return to what would be a dream return to Barcelona. Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, Lucas Hernandez, Balde will most likely start. Okay, but for me, I would go for Jules Koundé. That's one too many players for PSG to miss, and we're talking about all starters. Yes, they have a replacement in that centre back, having signed Ilian Zabagi from Bournemouth, but we know that William Pacho alongside Marquinhos is the known quantity of a partnership. I remember seeing them. There's a game that they lost to Olympique Marseille by 0-0, and they were playing Achraf Hakimi, I think, ahead among the front three, and it was Marquinhos playing on the right-hand side of the the back line, and then they had Ilya Zabani alongside, William Pacho in that, defense. So with all those injuries, again, it makes their work hard. But of course, that means they have to rely on the B team in terms of bringing on Bradley Bacola, Goncalo Ramos, Lee Kang In, those players. Then I do not know what's happened to Joao Neves. Is Joao Neves among those that are absent? Because the speculation is that he may not start this one, and then we get to see Warren Zaire-Emery in that midfield alongside Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz. Then Nuno Mendes and Akraf Hakimi, of course, Lucas Chavaria in goal. That's for the side of PSG. For the side of Barcelona, you say Kunde at right back and Belalde or Balde at left back. Why not Gerard Martin? Why not Gerard Martin at left back? But anyway, Ronald Araujo alongside who? Andreas Christensen to start there. You know, let me see. You're saying John Neves has trained today, so expected to be ready. Okay, yes, he may train, but sometimes if you're not fully fit, maybe 100% fit, for a game of Barcelona's magnitude, that where you need a lot of running, may not be the kind of game where the manager sort of throws you back into the deep end, while he's have to overcome such incidents before. When you're going to face Barcelona, the one thing you expect to do is there's going to be a lot of relentless running. So when you have players like Marcus Rashford on one side, Lamine Yamal attacking you on the other, you do expect to do a lot of running. That is to be expected. Then for that midfield, I do not expect that it is going to be Marc Casado to start. I do expect Frankie de Jong, given his maturity, his control on the ball. I mean, he has a lot of finesse on the ball. Sometimes I get the feeling he does not get enough credit or the credit he deserves for his kind of control on that ball or performances. That because of course Pedri does so much good that he steals all the shine oftentimes away from Frankie de Jong. I remember watching him again in that game against Real Oviedo when he came in for Marc Casado, and he gave Barcelona a lot of balance in that midfield. So yeah, you say Pedri, De Jong, Lamine, Olmo, Rashford, and Lewandowski in a 4-2-3-1 kind of system. I mean, yeah, I think that paints us the picture. Then the question then becomes who wins the midfield battle of those of those guys. On the other side, you have Vitinha, you have Fabian Ruiz, you have let's say Warren Zaire-Emery. I think it will be one to really watch. I think PSG will have a good contest in that midfield. I do not think that they will have the fluidity that they normally have in their front three when it's Ousmane Dembele, Desire Doué, and Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, especially when it comes to how Ousmane Dembele pulls back into midfield, and then they sort of create space on one of the wings, so that when Ousmane Dembele receives that ball deep in midfield, he has somebody to pass to in that channel, whether it's Kivicha Kvaratskhelia or Desire Doué, depending on how they may rotate around. So I think I believe PSG's midfield is crazy. I mean, yeah, it is good, but I think because remember, you see, for teams like PSG and for managers like Luis Enrique, more similar to Pep Guardiola, and in some way or form or shape, Hansi Flick. Most of these teams, they are used to play as a collective team. Like it's a system that works well when all the components are in play. And usually when you unplug certain key components of that system, the system tends to not function the same way. So in that sense, I mean, when you are lacking that preferred, front three of Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, Desire Doué, and Ousmane Dembele, it's not pound for pound. It's not going to give you the same if you have Bradley Bacola, Goncalo Ramos, Lee Kang in, or even if you bring in Mayulu, it's not always going to sort of come out the same way. So I feel that's where they could suffer. I think for Barcelona, it's always outscoring the opponent. I mean, that's what you guys have opted to go for, and not let's say under this Hansi Flick era. And I've compared you guys to Liverpool. Liverpool seem to have told themselves, yeah, we do not have the best of defense, but let's look to outscore the opponent. Because when you look at majority of their games this season, the games that they've won, you will see that only 2 games that they've won with a 1 goal margin. In terms of 1-0, that's against Arsenal and against Burnley. Then you go to games like Bournemouth, they won 4-2. You go to Newcastle, they won 3-2. You go to Atletico de Madrid in the UEFA Champions League, they won 3-2. So you can see that they are looking to score more goals to sort of outscore the opponents. Now, while Barcelona on the other side had something similar last season, and I always say this, it's not like their defense can not function because it is capable of keeping even a clean sheet, but they know that it's very unreliable in the system within which they play, that they have to outscore the opponents. That's why when we reflect back on some of the results that they got out in, especially in big games last season, particularly in all the games they played against Real Madrid, they had to outscore Real Madrid for them to win. And when you go back to the UEFA Champions League, when you go back to the double tie at the quarterfinals against Borussia Dortmund, they won, I think, by 3 goals to nil in the first leg and lost by 3-1 in the return leg. When you go to the semi-finals, it was the same scenario against Inter Milan. They 3-3 and then lost 4-3. That sort of sense. So against a PSG side, I mean, we would all have loved it to have that, to have PSG at their very best, or to have their very best assembled team to give Barcelona, a run for their money inside their own backyard. So you say, I think, okay, here's a real question. What's your score prediction? I'll go 3-2 Barcelona. That's my prediction. I'll go 3-2 Barcelona. Barcelona to win it. I do not know how PSG will score their goals, but a part of me believes that they can find a way. With Barcelona, you can always find a way to score against them. I mean, we saw the incident against Real Oviedo when Joan Garcia went to literally do his own defending, and then he had that blind pass and Reina scored in an empty net. So this time around, it's the old man Wojciech Szczesny that will be in goal in the absence of Joan Garcia. But you can run at that Barcelona defense. You can. The moment you beat Barcelona in that midfield, you're going to have a good go ahead on the other side. Then I expect Nuno Mendes to have a very long evening, facing off with Lamine Yamal. I mean, that kid is just going to give you nightmares on any given day. You really, really have, even when you're really, really sorry to have the kind of performance or the kind of performances that we've seen Nuno Mendes consistently put in, but the performance we saw of him, particularly in the FIFA Club World Cup, he's bound to get the better of you at least on 1 or 2 occasions. You say, brother, for the first time, we shake hands in agreement. I believe it will be 3-2. Barcelona as well can increase to 4. Possibly. The times you watch PSG get beat, and you're thinking to yourself, is this the PSG that has been beating up against everybody? Sometimes that's how it feels for somebody that is watching it. I remember, particularly, I keep drawing, comparison or back to that example of Olympic Marseille beating them by 1-0. It was a bit of a feist game, and Olympic Marseille really, really competed so well, and they even had another goal cancelled out. I think by VAR in that game. They really, really dominated PSG. And then you look at some of their victories this season. For example, 2-0 against Lens, 1-0 against Angers. They have a 6-3 victory against Toulouse. Then, of course, in the UEFA Champions League, they managed to put 4 past Atlanta in the opening fixture, and then over the weekend they won by 2-0 against Auxerre. You can see that yes, in some games they've scored, so they've been high scoring games, but it's only happened in 2 games against Toulouse and but in a game which they conceded as many as 3, and then against Atlanta. But now this is the other key thing. They've kept at least about 4 clean sheets so far this season in 6 games played across all competitions. That's something to ponder about. Actually, more games played across all competitions because they are at the summit of the French League One. Of course, they are at the summit of the French League One after 6 games played, 5 wins, 1 loss, and 15 points. Of course, the Olympic Lyon comes second with a similar tally of points. Olympic Marseille with 12 points, 4 victories, 2 losses. But yeah, on a given day, they can sort of out defend you or they can lock you out and you fail to find score that goal. But against Barcelona, I fancy Barcelona really to have a go at it. I fancy Barcelona to have a go at it. Anyways, the other fixtures that will be coming our way still in the UEFA Champions League tomorrow at 10 p.m. East African time will include Bayer Leverkusen up against PSV Eindhoven, Borussia Dortmund against Athletic Bilbao, Napoli will be up against Sporting CP, Villarreal will entertain Juventus, Arsenal will be at home against Olympiacos. So those are some of the other games that you must be looking out for to watch because, yeah, particularly, I think I'll be interested in 2 games. That game between Arsenal and Olympiacos, because we know that Olympiacos, I think you have to run it back to what was the season? There's the time Arsenal got knocked out by Olympiacos 2-1 on aggregate. I think either was it. I remember Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scoring in that game. Mesut Ozil was still around, so sort of a revenge plot there for Arsenal. Excuse me. And then of course the game between Barcelona and PSG. That should be a tactical masterclass that all of us should be looking forward to watching when the fixtures do come tomorrow. I do not know how I'll be able to make it happen, but I'll try to keep tabs on both games if things permit me. It was Europa League. I think Olympiacos, Arsenal. Read my comments above. Did I miss any comments? I did not miss any comments. The last comment I have was where we were in agreement about the 3-2, the 3-2 prediction, and you said you can increase it to 4. So that's the only comment. I read all the others. Then it was Europa League. I think Olympiacos, Arsenal. Yes. So yeah, I've read all comments unless there is any particular one that you think. Yeah, I've read all the comments. That I'm sure. Yeah, I think it was in the UEFA Europa League. Arsenal got knocked out. So they will. Of course, it's 2 different teams. Given the amount of time that is passed since then, but it should be a kind reminder to Arsenal that they should have a plot, a revenge plot to have on their hands. But they will go into that fixture in a bit of good spirits, following that late victory against Newcastle, and then also the return of some of their injured players, including the captain Martin Odegaard. I wanted Dembele to play so we can beat his ass up. Rafinha deserved the Ballon d'Or. Not gonna lie, the trophy is losing its hype and importance. I beg to differ. I think it's very biased now. Wow, that's what you think? It's very biased. I mean, there are times the Ballon d'Or has been given out and I wasn't in agreement of the winners. And for that, I've voiced my opinion. I think you have to go back in 20, for some of the occasions, particularly, you go back and look at the winners and you're like, not quite for me. So for me, Ousmane Dembele winning it, I always thought that the moment that PSG won that UEFA Champions League, a trophy, he was quite in the frame to win it. Now, the good thing is that you're a Barcelona fan. And here you are suggesting that Rafinha deserved to win it. And yet he did not even finish second. He finished 5th. And I remember giving my reaction on the accolade, and I said, if there's anything I disagreed with the most was the position which Rafinha took in the standings, because it had Ousmane Dembele, Lamine Yamal, Vitinha, Mo Salah, and Rafinha. I did not agree with that fifth place for Rafinha in the rankings. I mean, and it was all Barcelona's doing, because for me, I would have had at least Rafinha come second. I had no problem with Vitinha being third, or Mo Salah being fourth. Whether you would swap Vitinha for Mo Salah for them to switch places, I would. For me, it had to be Rafinha at least in second place, and I gave my reasons for everything Lamine Yamal did so good last season. Rafinha did better. I mean, we are talking about a player who, by the time Hansi Flick walks in, there's speculation that Barcelona could be willing to let him go. And yet he becomes quite the revelation under Hansi Flick. He plays more ball than he's ever played throughout his entire career. You know, I mean, 13 goals in the UEFA Champions League, about 8 assists, giving him an overall 21 goal involvement. You go to the Spanish La Liga, he had 18 goals and 9 assists. Again, that's another 27 goal involvement, 27 goal involvement in La Liga alone. So across all competitions, he was just superb. He was just superb. You say Rafinha delivered in the big games, 68 goals and assists. La Liga, Spanish Super Cup, Copa del Rey, UEFA Champions League semi-final, UEFA Champions League top scorer, 50th place. What a shameful disgrace. Yes, a shameful disgrace. But the reason as to why, in my opinion, and you could agree or disagree with me, this one, the reason as to why for me I blame it on Barcelona is because they, in terms of media coverage and PR, they chose Lamine Yamal. He's the player that was fronted when it came to all the media hype and speculation. Every time you had mentions to do with the Ballon d'Or, to do with and I mean, we all know that Rafinha was the best player in this Spanish La Liga last season, you know, as Barcelona were winning it. But for majority of the media coverage that came out of Spain in reference to Barcelona, Lamine Yamal's name was constantly being brought to the forefront. And for me, that's why I blamed it on Barcelona, that Rafinha finished where he finished in the Ballon d'Or rankings. That's my opinion. You go on to say he scored against Real Madrid 3 times, Bayern Munich, Inter twice, at Dortmund twice, Atletico Madrid 3 times. I mean, yes, all that individual, like I said, whatever Lamine Yamal did so well, Rafinha did better. And for me, he deserves to be on that Ballon d'Or podium. I do acknowledge that the deserved winner won it in Ousmane Dembele, even though Rafinha's numbers were better, individual numbers, but because his contribution helped PSG win the UEFA Champions League, and we cannot, outshine that. We cannot outshine that. I did not whatsoever bring into contestation or consideration the FIFA Club World Cup, because Barcelona were never in that competition in the first place. You know, the same way Barcelona won the domestic treble is the same way PSG won the domestic treble, and then it came to the UEFA Champions League front, and then PSG were the better side at the end of the day. So you say you're probably gonna laugh at this, but when I saw Ronaldinho on the stage, I thought Rafinha has won it. So it was a huge shock for me, because it's his idol. Do not forget his hat-trick against Bayern Munich. Obviously, I cannot forget. But yeah, when it was announced that Ronaldinho, Gaucho de Assis Moreira, was the one going to be handing out the trophy to the eventual winner, there were so many mixed reactions. One, he himself having won it back in 2006, there was a speculative idea that one, it's going to be a Barcelona player that wins it. And then I do not know whether he said this for a fact, but in the build up to the actual event, some sources quoted him. Like I said, I do not know whether he actually said this, but he was being quoted to have said that uh, the winner is from a team I once played for. And then I remembered he also played for PSG, the time when Mauricio Pochettino and Mikel Arteta were playing at PSG before he made the switch to Barcelona. So it was cryptic in nature. So we knew that, for starters, we knew that the eventual winner was either going to come from Barcelona or PSG. That was for sure. And then, alas, it came from PSG. But I do understand the correlation that you tried to draw between that when it was announced that he would be the one handing over the trophy to the eventual winner on that regard. So, and again, Rafinha having Ronaldinho as his idol, both having played now for Barcelona, you just felt that the stars had aligned, for the Brazilians. But unfortunately, it was never meant to be. Again, speaking of robbed Ballon d'Ors, go back, I think, to 2000, was it 2003, when Pavel Nedved wins it ahead of Thierry Henry, around that time, in 2007, I did not argue. His ex-late Kaka deserved to win it. They had beaten Liverpool in the finals by 2-1 of the UEFA Champions League. I think we're in argument. 2008, Cristiano Ronaldo won it, having won the UEFA Champions League and the Premier League title with Manchester United. They beat up against Chelsea. I think, was it 5-4 on penalties in Moscow? Then we go to 2009. Lionel Messi wins it. 2010, Lionel Messi wins it. 2011, Lionel Messi wins it. Now, in between there is where I disagree. In 2010, I did not agree that Messi deserved to win it. Yeah, because that's the season that Inter Milan wins the treble. So my expectation was going to be that at least Wesley Sneijder wins that accolade. At least it was really, really high in my rankings. Then two, it was the same year of the World Cup 2010 in South Africa. Then Spain go on to win the World Cup. And Iniesta, who had made the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, they had won I think, the Spanish La Liga, and then he won the World Cup with Spain, scoring the winner in the final, the assist by Francesc Sola Fabregas. And I was there thinking to myself, it has to be Wesley Sneijder or Iniesta. And guess what? It was given to Lionel Messi. I did not agree. I've never agreed until this day. Then 2011 and 2012, I think that was that Cristiano Ronaldo, and then, like that. So you say, if Lamine Yamal performs well tomorrow, it will be a warning bell saying that the Ballon d'Or should have been to Lamine Yamal. It will be a massive statement in front of PSG. I do not think so, because the period for which the considerations are made is now expired. Like we are into a new sort of calendar year, so we begin afresh. The same way Barcelona finished top and win the Spanish La Liga, and then we go into another iteration of a new season, and it's a clean slate. And then teams are in order of alphabetical order. Maybe Atletico Madrid, Athletic Bilbao are the ones that lead the pile in that arrangement, and then Real Madrid win the opening six. Then they are top of the summit. Barcelona leapfrog them. Atletico de Madrid, who had their own shambolic start to the season, have suddenly sort of recovered following that victory against Real Madrid over the weekend. So like that. So it's a clean slate. Whether he scores a hat-trick, whether he scores 5 goals against PSG tomorrow, bygones are bygones. That was for last season. Now it's this season, So you look at all that and think to yourself that again, we all have our reservations when it comes to the list of those Ballon d'Or winners over time. Like I've told you, particularly for me in 2010, I was taken aback by some of those winners. You say, yeah, I already know it's decided. Yes. So again, we're going through them, and we had reached 20 watts. 2012. Lionel Messi wins it, and particularly because he wins it 2011 because Barcelona had beaten up against Manchester United in the finals of the UEFA Champions League by 3-1. Was it 3-1 or 3-0? I think 3-1 to win the UEFA Champions League again. And then, so you've seen that in 2010, I disagree. 2009, that's okay. 2011, okay. 2012, he wins it. Again, not so convinced. Now, I think it was around 2012 where he wins it because he had scored the most goals in the calendar year. And I'm thinking to myself, since when did it go from what your contributions help your team win and go solely to your individual brilliance of number of goals scored? Because if we're going to make that argument, then over the years, then I mean, Victor Gyökeres would want to claim the same accolade to say, look, I outscored all the strikers in Europe last season, so give it to me. You know, so that was a shift of goalposts in front of the winners team. Okay, it will be a chance to redeem himself to tell everyone that he deserved the trophy in front of the winners team. Okay, I understand. I understand that. So Lionel Messi wins it in 2012. I think I did not agree on that occasion as well. That occasion, 2012, that's when Chelsea win the UEFA Champions League title. That's the time Spain win the Euros. You know, I suddenly did not agree with that. You say the two I disagree with are 2015 and 2021. The Magician and Neymar Junior Santos should have won it, and Robert Lewandowski should have won it. It's a 64 and 68 goals was crazy. 2015, yes. Now 2013, Cristiano Ronaldo wins it. 2014, he wins it again. 2015, 2015. Now, for me, it's not 2015. I think it's 2013 when Cristiano Ronaldo wins it, when I'd hoped Robert Lewandowski goes on to win it. Now, remember, 2013, that's when Bayern Munich win the UEFA Champions League title with Jupp Heynckes, you know, with Jupp Heynckes, and he had a stellar season in 2013. Then 2015 was Lionel Messi. Let me see. 2015 Messi was deserved, maybe, or you say you wanted it for Neymar. Okay, now they had been in the same team. Remember, same team with Messi, Neymar, Suarez. They beat up against Juventus in the UEFA Champions League final by 3-1. I remember it was Ivan Rakitic, Luis Suarez, and I think Neymar who scored in stoppage time. Then Alvaro Morata scored the only goal for Juventus. So in 2015, I agree it should have been. I would agree it should have been Neymar. Lewandowski in 2021 got robbed. In 2021, yes, 2021, I do agree. Again, it was given to Lionel Messi. Why? I don't even know. He was at PSG. They hadn't done anything extraordinary, not in my opinion. So then, 2016, given to Cristiano Ronaldo. 2017, Ronaldo. 2018, I do not think we disagree. It being given to Luka Modric. 2019, given to Messi. 2020 was skipped, not awarded. Then Karim Benzema. Messi 2021, which we both disagree on. Like we disagree that it shouldn't have gone to him, it should have gone to Robert Lewandowski. Then Karim Benzema 2022, well deserved. Lionel Messi 2023, because Argentina had won the World Cup, so it was bound to go that direction. And then Rodri in 2024. Yeah. So basically that's how I would digest it. You say Neymar deserved it in 2015. I do agree with you on that. Lewandowski won 6 trophies and 68 goals and still didn't win it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, exactly, absolutely ridiculous. Because for me, my criteria, or which I think should be the criteria, but my individual criteria for one to win the Ballon d'Or is that your individual contributions towards a team, no matter how big they are, even if you score 1,000 goals in a calendar year, your individual quality should live to benefit the entirety of your team. It should translate to silverware for the team. That's why I've always had criticism for Harry Kane at Tottenham Hotspurs. He's a very good striker, scored so many goals, he did it all, but all that never translated into a piece of silverware. I mean, I think on about 3 different occasions when he was the Premier League top scorer, and that never translated to anything. Not even a Carabao Cup, not even an FA Cup, and not even a Community Shield, not even a Premier League title. So it all never materialized to anything. That individual quality, So that's why I kept saying that if you're, let's say, let me first read your comments. You say, I remember when he scored 5 goals against Tottenham in the UEFA Champions League stage 2019 when they won 7-2. You see, so all that. Let me give you another example. Yes, in 2013, that year when it is given to Cristiano Ronaldo, I think actually it wasn't Robert Lewandowski that had wanted to win it. I think it was either Arjen Robben or Frank Ribery in 2013 when they beat up against Borussia Dortmund in the finals by 2-1 of the UEFA Champions League. Now, somehow it got to Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know he had scored how many goals in the UEFA Champions League, that kind of nonsense. So for me, whatever you contribute as an individual, should translate into the benefit of a team. The team winning. So at the end of the day, the team should win. So if we go into this season and Lamine Yamal scores 40 goals, has 20 assists, and I do not know across all competitions, if it does not translate into Barcelona winning major silverware, then I do not want him in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or. Yes, he can come in the rankings, but his individual contribution must translate to something. And well, if it's not that, then we shouldn't be having, because the cornerstone of the Ballon d'Or was that your contribution meant something for the team. It gave the team something. That's why when you go back to 2006, when Fabio Cannavaro was winning it, it's because Italy won the World Cup and he won it. Best defender, the last defender to win it. In any case, the reason as why Ronaldinho won it in 2006 is because they had won the UEFA Champions League with Frank Rijkaard beating Arsenal 2-1 in the final. When you go to 2007, it's because AC Milan had won the UEFA Champions League. Kaka, 2008, because Manchester United had won the UEFA Champions League. Cristiano Ronaldo, so his contribution meant that. 2009, when Leo Messi wins it, it's because Barcelona had won the UEFA Champions League. Guess what? Won the UEFA Champions League with who? They beat up against Manchester United in the final, 2-0. You go to 2010, and Inter Milan have won the Scudetto, they've won the Coppa Italia, they've won the UEFA Champions League, including beating Barcelona themselves. We go into the World Cup, and then suddenly it's given to Lionel Messi. I never agree. People fell in love with Messi for the right reasons, and then he sort of got away with things in that sense, in terms of winning the Ballon d'Or, even when he shouldn't have. It's like being a very, very loved celebrity in your country, that sometimes you're going to get caught outside the law, and you will get away with it just because of your name. I mean, the traffic officer stops you for doing a 70 in a 30-kilometer zone, and he smiles and is like, okay, can we have a selfie? Instead of writing you a ticket. So basically, that's how I would sort of interpret it, that he got away with much. But anyways, it's been a beautiful debate. or discussion. It's been a while since we had last had one of these with you, Pedri, and some of our usual suspects. LFC upset today, notwithstanding. But yeah, thank you so much for making it worthwhile. Always a pleasure to have you around and have your input and challenge some of my stances or opinions on certain things, and give us all this history and knowledge that you bring to the table. It's much appreciated. Allow me wish you a blessed night. I know school should be on the horizon for you tomorrow, among any other things that you may have to tend to. Have a blessed night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye for now.